I'm wearing a little penguin socks for this video.
We love it. Hey guys, what's up? Guess who's back with a brand new video? This girl right here. And this girl is gonna be showing you how I prep my pointe shoes today. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi. If you are coming back, welcome back. My name is Bella. I'm a professional ballet dancer with Ballet Austin. This is my third season in the main company now. And I'll just show you how I kind of like prep and prepare my pointe shoes. Obviously, every single dancer is different. This video is a long time coming. I've literally planned this video for so long. Not only have I planned it for a long time, but I have filmed it 3 times, and every single time something has happened where it just doesn't work out. I have either ran out of time, the daylight literally goes away from me and I don't have lighting, and then on top of that, it's really hard for me to like film with 2 hands plus like showing you what I'm doing. So we're just gonna try this new today. Truly, my process has changed over the years, and I think always experimenting, always trying new things is just the way to go. So I currently am wearing Nikolay's. If you told me a few years ago that I would be wearing Nikolay's, I would say there's absolutely no way, because I was a Suffolk girly for a long time. I was a Freed girly. I did not wear like Russian shoes. I wore Russian points for like a little bit. I wore like literally every single shoe, and I just never thought I'd make it back to Nikolay. Grishko 2007s were my first pair of pointe shoes ever. So it's kind of a full circle moment. I do have a previous how I prep my pointe shoes video a few years ago. I'd like to say 6 or 7 years ago now. And I was wearing Suffolks then. A lot has changed. I switched to Nikolay's last season, and honestly, I don't think I could ever go back. I'll kind of be talking a little bit about what my issues were with Suffolks. I think that they're an amazing shoe. I just think that they weren't the best for my feet, and I was wearing them for literally so long, and I kept going back to them, but I'm glad that I changed shoes. I did a virtual fitting with Josephine Lee from the Pointe Shop. If y'all don't know who that is, I'll put her link here, but you should know if you watch like ballet videos, and she's literally awesome, and she fitted me in these and never going back. So I still have my old Suffolks here as well. So first things first, I also wore a 4XXN in the Suffolks. I wear a 4XX in these. The width is basically the same. The main difference is the shape of the box. So this box, as you can see, is more square, and the vamp is a lot shorter compared to the Nikolay. The Nikolay is just more tapered, and it has that V cut as opposed to a U cut. And then for just difference on the sides here, you can kind of see that compared to that. The heel is a lot higher up. These ones were just my like a normal stock sonnet shoe. The sides are cut down kind of nicely, but then like right here is kind of, there's just a lot of fabric on the heel. I got this cut down so much when I got my custom, so this is just a little bit more like streamlined, and I really prefer that. And this outer sole is like an actual sole. It's a little harder to move, whereas this sole is like literally the most pliable thing ever. And a big reason why I switched from Suffolk to Nikolay, Suffolks tend to do this like weird bubbly thing right here when they start to dye. I feel like it's just so hard to point your toes. And for some people, Suffolks, literally, they're the best shoe ever for them, especially if you have like really nice feet. I feel like it really helps just keep you like up and not like going over. I don't have the best feet. I don't have the strongest feet either. I mean, I do a lot of TheraBand exercises, but I have a little bit of like a cramping foot problem. And so my main concern was like, as ballets would go on, my feet would just cramp so bad, which foot cramps are completely normal, calf cramps are completely normal, but I feel like mine were just like blown out of proportion. It was really bad. I do see PT now for them, and they like scrape my feet anyways, but I feel like my shoes were just not helping. I wasn't able to fully get over the box. Even before sewing or doing anything, I could barely get over my box, and it took a lot to like even make the shoe look good. That was another big reason I switched, was just I had to like sew a lot of things, do a lot of things to the shoe. Whereas these, they're just like good from the get-go, you know? So, anywho, back to how I sew my point shoes. So, today you're gonna need obviously point shoes, some elastic, some ribbon, needle and thread. I have this darning yarn stuff. This is literally just cooking twine from HEB. I like to use floss and then a pair of scissors. So first thing that I normally do, so in the tip, we have like a cushion. I hate the cushion, so I actually take that out. It's not an annoying cushion, I just don't like the cushion. Sometimes it's like really glued in there, so I just take that out. Now I have no cushion. And then these have stickers on them on the inside, so I just peel back the sticker. Here's some ASMR for you. So the next thing that I normally do is I will 3/4 my shoes. So these shoes have a full inner shank. So I wear the size 4XX in a hard shank. Sometimes I wear reinforced shank and then sometimes I switch to a medium shank. It really depends on what I'm doing, but these are a hard shank. So I will peel back the heel like that, and then I will actually pull this shank apart from the shoe as best I can. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra wiggle. So then when I get it pulled back enough like that, what I will do is I'll actually grab my scissors and I just cut along it like that. And then what I do from there is I peel back the top shank from that shank and open it up a little bit. And then I actually cut this shank. So I'll normally separate the two like that, chop that off. So now I have just this, so that there's like a little bit of definition there. There it is. And then I'll show you also what it looks like with the shank on. It's not that much of a difference really, but to me it makes all the difference. So I'm just gonna do the same to the other shoe. Now that I've started cutting it, I can't go back. I literally tried over the summer and it just, my feet were cramping. I just couldn't handle it. Alrighty, so now both shanks are out of the shoe. I'm just gonna toss those to the side. So now I have two shankless shoes. Now what I do, it depends on the day. I will either darn first or sew first. Today I'm gonna go ahead and get started with just sewing first. So what I will do is I get these elastics from the shoe room at Ballet Austin, and I kind of already know how much I need. So I will just cut this into 4s. If you watched my last like how I prep my point shoes video, I used to just single loop my elastic around the back of the shoe, just like that, and that was it. But now I like to crisscross my elastics, which is very different than what I used to do. So I'm just gonna grab a needle and some floss, and I like to use waxed floss. If you used to buy the stitch kit, which I still have the container for, I actually have not bought a stitch kit in years. I just buy the needles and floss now, but this floss is like kind of like the stitch kit thread that they used to give you. I forgot a big part of the things that you need. I like to grab a little piece of a TheraBand just like this, like cut off, because my hands get really sweaty when I'm sewing, so I like to have that on hand. So now what I do is I grab one piece of elastic and I put it on the back of the shoe just like that, and I will sew through, and then I just come back around on the outer part of the shoe and pull through. So I'm just making like little loops along the drawstring area. And this rubber TheraBand really helps.
So then I'll normally sew the other side as well, just so that I have both of the back sides of the shoe and the elastic sewn there. And you just gotta be very careful that you're not sewing the drawstring.
Okay, so now I have the two back elastics sewn on the shoe. I'll unflip it Normally I can just tell how long these need to be, but for the purpose of this, I'm just gonna put these on, and from there, I'm just gonna kind of cross these over and feel where it's comfortable. So I'm gonna cut it out that much, and then feels about right. And then instead of working harder, I work smarter, and I just use that as a template on the other side. So before I sew those, I actually will grab my ribbon, and I use this is the exact same as my last video. I use the stretchy ribbon, and I just use one loop for one shoe. So I use 2 pieces for 2 pairs of shoes. I'll kind of show how I put them on at the end, but this is all you need. And then I kind of just like do it like that. And I just find that it really helps with quick changes. It helps with, I used to get really bad anxiety about my shoes, my knots coming out during a performance. So that's why I do this.
Peel back the shoe like that again. And then I'll find the side that I like the best. It doesn't really matter if I'm being honest, but I'll find the side and I'll do a little tiny fold like that. And then I will put that fold against the shoe. I like to do it on that seam right there, and I angle it the way that the seam is going. And then I'll grab the opposite elastic and I will just sew both at the same time. This one I sew a little differently. So I sew it like a box. And I really just try to get just the inside fabric and then underneath both the elastic and the ribbon. And then I go through the shoe like that. So then I'll just throw the same piece over, use the same elastic area or elastic ribbon, throw that over, do the same folding technique, and then I just make sure, you just want to make sure that this isn't twisted at all, but that it's a straight line, doesn't get twisted, and then right on top there. And then same thing, I'm just gonna sew it into place here.
So in terms of customizations with my shoes, I actually don't really get anything done. When I got into the company, I started experimenting with some custom stuff. For my Suffolks, I got the sides cut down, I got the heel cut down a ton, like an inch. With these, I actually don't get anything custom except for one thing. So really interesting, these shoes come with an elasticized binding. So the binding of the shoe, there's no drawstring, it's just elasticized. But I love a drawstring, I need a drawstring. I kind of have small heels and I really like the security of having a drawstring. So I have them add a drawstring. But the fun thing is, I had them add a drawstring and they changed the whole casing, but I preferred the feel of drawstring and an elasticized binding. I feel like it didn't dig into my heel, so I actually get this like specially done where they put the drawstring in the elasticized binding, and I really like it, and that's literally the only thing that I get done. Alrighty, so now I'm done sewing the shoe. I have to still darn it and break it in and all of that, but I'll kind of show you how I sew, like the stitches that I make. So these inner stitches for the back of the heel, they are just through and through the shoe around the drawstring. And you just wanna make sure that you avoid the drawstring if you're gonna sew like that. Don't sew into the drawstring. You wanna make sure the drawstring is still usable. And then for the ribbon and elastic part, I sew it like a little box, and that just ensures that it stays in place. So I have a crisscrossed elastic shoe and the one ribbon. So now I'm gonna get to darning. So with darning, you just wanna make sure that you use like a thicker needle, one that will kind of get through the shoe a little bit more. I will say I break my needles all the time, so don't be alarmed if you break your needle on accident. So this is what I use. I don't double my string. When I feed it through the needle's eye, I just loop it like that. If you have crazy feet, you can always double it. There are many ways to darn a shoe. I know someone who literally wraps this around the box of the shoe and then sews that into place basically. But this is just how I do it, and this is the best way that I found works for me. I will push it through the edge of the shoe, along the edge, and I darn the full tip of the box. Some people just darn around the front, but I like to do the front and the back. So when I have a little bit on the end, I actually just hold that. I don't like to tie a knot or anything. I think it gets slippery for me. And then I'm gonna make another stitch. So before I pull all the way through, I'm gonna stop and loop through, just like that. And then pull tightly. So one more time. Before I pull the needle through, I just feed it through that hole and then pull it tight. And I literally do that around the entire shoe.
This is a random tip I have as well. So sometimes your needles can break, sometimes the thread can break for sure. But when you are pulling your needle through, a big reason it breaks a lot of the time is because we try to wiggle it as we pull through. And if you wiggle it too much, sometimes it can break the needle. So this is like such a random tip, but something that I've learned is before you pull it through, so I'm gonna put the needle through, before I even get through, I'm gonna wiggle the needle like this to loosen some of that satin so that by the time I'm at the top, you really don't have to like force it through. It just loosens up the satin, and if you're grabbing some of that fabric underneath the satin as well, it loosens all of it up. So I just like wiggle it. That way when I get up here, I don't have to wiggle it by the eye where it could break. A lot of times where the needle breaks will be like in half or at the eye of the needle. So I just like to do it before it gets to the eye, basically. That way there's a less chance of it breaking, less likely of a chance of it breaking.
So I started darning because I couldn't fully get over my box at the time that I started darning, and I really wanted something to help me. This helped me so much, and now I just really can't go back. Once you start darning, I feel like you can't go back. You're just so used to it. It really has helped the longevity of my box. When I switched to these, I started wearing them, not darning them, just to see how they felt, so like before I did anything to the shoe. And they felt great, but the box died so fast just because there was like nothing there to kind of cushion it. And I just think it looks pretty. I think it like makes the line of the foot look better. So now I'm done sewing both of my shoes. I just went ahead and sewed the other one off camera. So I have 2 sewn shoes now. They're both darned at the tip. They both have 1 elastic ribbon, 2 elastic crisscross, and then obviously the inside that I cut. So I'm just gonna show you how I break them in. Normally, I will actually also use jet glue before I wear them. I like to put the jet glue in the shoe along the shank, so I like to put them in here along the sides and down into the box, and I just swirl it around and then kind of press it into the ground. I'm out of jet glue right now, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get more jet glue at the studio and be able to jet glue it before class, but typically that's what I do next. And then in terms of how I break in my shoes, so first thing that I'm going to do is step on them with my penguin socks. So these don't really have like that like really crunchy sound that most shoes do, so unfortunately there's no like ASMR for this, but I just step on them just like that, just to flatten out the box. And then what I'll do from there is I kind of just like to bend it in this metatarsal area a little bit this way, a little bit that way, but mostly that way so that I can point my feet. And then I will put the shoe on and tighten the drawstring.
And obviously I normally wear toe pads, but today I will not be wearing toe pads for the sake of this video and because they're at the studio. And just tighten this. What I also like to do is go on demi point and then tighten it from there as well. And then once it feels good, I'll actually take it off, tighten it just a hair more, and then fully tie it off, and then cut just a bit off of that. And then I will do the same with the other shoe. So now what I like to do is I like to try on my shoes and just see which one is right and left. So before I fully decide which one's right and left and put them on all the way, is I'll kind of just look at them like this. Literally just take a look and see if it looks better one way or the other on the left foot and the right foot. So I'm thinking that we're gonna go this way. I'm gonna put my shoes on without the elastics and the ribbons on all the way, just so that I can feel and see, and then from there I'll decide which shoe I like best on which foot. Go ahead and give a good demi point and just feel the difference between the feet. This feels right, so I'm gonna mark right and left in my shoes. This could change obviously once I actually wear them, like in the studio with my toe pads on and all of that. But I'm gonna try them on now with the elastics, just kind of like walk around in them just a little bit, just to kind of break them in just a hair, and so I can show you guys what they look like all sewn and all of that. I know a lot of people are wondering how I tie my pointe shoes, so I will just show because it's a little confusing. I take this elastic and I will cross it over once. Put it under the shoe like that, and then once it's under, I cross it the other way, and then from there I pull this all the way onto my heel, and then I straighten out. Alrighty, the shoes are on. I just like to kind of prance around on a high 3/4 point, and then just go up and kind of feel if these are in fact right and left footed. Cute and fun and fresh, yes.
So that is how I sew and prep my pointe shoes for performances, for literally anything that I'm doing. I could watch a good like 45-minute episode of something and be done sewing my shoes. So I hope this was helpful. If y'all have any questions or you want to see anything else from me, please put it in the comments below. I know that I've been off YouTube for so long, so I'm just really trying to get back into it. Nutcracker vlogs will definitely be coming this year, but if there's anything else y'all kind of want to see in the meantime, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to know what y'all would want to see, but I am just enjoying being back on YouTube. So thank y'all so much for watching. I love you guys literally so much. Please like, subscribe, you know where the buttons are, do all the things. My Instagram is down below. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.